From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight. The Palestinian Health Ministry reports that Israeli forces have killed 97 Palestinians and wounded 123 others in Gaza. One Israeli airstrike late Monday killed 17 members of the Faqawi family in Khan Yunis, including children. Palestinian news agency Wafa reports that the European hospital in Khan Yunis alone received 25 dead bodies. Rescuers are still removing rubble to find those currently trapped, as well as more bodies of the dead. UNICEF has issued a dire warning of escalating malnutrition-related deaths in Gaza, with at least 16 children already dying by starvation. The agency's regional director for the Middle East, Adel Khodr, has warned about the explosion in child deaths and has called for addressing the rapidly increasing nutrition crisis immediately. The UN notes 85% displacement and food insecurity among the people of Gaza, with humanitarian aid access severely restricted. The death toll from Israel's offensive since October now stands at 30,631, with 72,043 Palestinians injured. Israel continues to be accused of genocide in Gaza by the International Court of Justice, as well as a growing number of countries around the world. In related news, a 10-year-old Palestinian child has died from severe hunger amid famine due to Israel's ongoing siege of Gaza. The mother of Yazi Al-Kafarne told Anadolu news agency that she lost her son due to malnutrition. The child was admitted to a hospital in the city of Rafah in southern Gaza and was losing weight rapidly. The family was displaced from Beit Hanun in northern Gaza to Rafah in the south. When Israel ordered the 1 million residents of northern Gaza to move south, human rights groups warned that this, along with a crippling blockade, would lead to a humanitarian catastrophe. Images and videos of Al-Kafarne showed the boy lying on a hospital bed with sunken cheeks. In one video, his father shows a photo of his son looking healthy from before the launch of Israel's war on Gaza in October. His father appealed to the World Health Organization to shed light on Palestinian children suffering from malnutrition in Gaza amid unabated Israeli attacks. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, at least 16 children have died from dehydration and malnutrition in northern Gaza amid Israel's siege on the area. Israeli tanks deliberately ran over Palestinians on Sunday. The Geneva-based Euromed Human Rights Monitor reports at least 3 cases where 2 families and a man were run over by Israeli tanks. It describes this as part of Israel's genocide against Palestinians in Gaza and has reiterated its call for the international community to immediately implement its obligations to stop it. Israel stands accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice. An interim ruling in January ordered Tel Aviv to stop genocidal acts and take measures to guarantee that humanitarian assistance is provided to civilians in Gaza. Hamas negotiators have agreed to prolong talks in Cairo for another day. They were initially slated for 2 days but have yet to yield a breakthrough. Egypt, Qatar, and many others part of the discussions are trying to break the deadlock in ceasefire negotiations. The talks focus on securing a 40-day truce between Israel and Hamas, coinciding with the start of Ramadan next week. According to a group official, the delegation will remain in Cairo for further discussions, with hopes of concluding the current round soon. Despite presenting their ceasefire proposal, the Israelis, notably absent from the talks, have yet to respond. Senior Hamas official Bassem Naim has urged the U.S. to pressure Israel into an agreement. Naim says they are waiting for a response from the Israelis on the proposal presented to the mediators during 2 days of talks. Israel has declined to comment publicly on the talks in Cairo. In a statement released by the Committee to Protect Journalists, or CPJ, senior executives of major media outlets have issued a joint condemnation against Israeli attacks on Palestinian journalists. ABC News, the Associated Press, Reuters, and the New York Times were among the signatories. The statement stresses the importance of safety, protection, and freedom for journalists reporting from Gaza. It was issued after Israel's High Court of Justice rejected requests from dozens of journalists to report independently. According to CPJ, 89 journalists have been killed since October 7th. The Palestinian Media Office in Gaza reports that 132 journalists have been killed by Israeli airstrikes and 80 others have been seriously wounded. As well, the Israeli army has detained 2 journalists and more than 173 media and press offices in Gaza have been damaged by Israeli bombing. U.S. Embassy staff were found dead in Israel. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. An American staffer at the U.S. Embassy in Israel has been found dead in Jerusalem. The embassy confirmed the death on Monday and denied any foul play. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller also declined to provide further information, as the family still had to be notified of the death. The U.S. in 2018 moved its embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, in a move not followed by most of the international community. The Council on American Islamic Relations and American Muslims for Palestine are condemning an upcoming event in New Jersey to sell illegally occupied Palestinian land. The event is organized by the group My Home in Israel Real Estate, which is based in occupied Palestine. It will be held this Sunday at a synagogue in the township of Teaneck. Care manager Dina Said Ahmed says local Muslim and Jewish communities have both expressed concern of the sale taking place in their area. Muslim advocacy groups are urging a federal investigation to prevent Teaneck's involvement in reported violations of international law, which forbids illegal Israeli settlements. They are also seeking help from the New Jersey Attorney General's office. Recent drone footage has revealed that despite heightened security measures, migrants from Central America continue to cross into Texas. The immigration crisis has sparked tensions between the federal government and the state. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has described the growing influx of migrants as an invasion. He has erected barbed wire fences along the border to deter unauthorized crossings and maintain control in the region. This is in defiance of the Supreme Court and the Biden administration. Within the U.S., deliberations are underway on a proposed reform to tighten the asylum process. Voters headed to the polls in 15 states and one territory today to cast their ballots in presidential primary elections. Super Tuesday is the day the largest number of states hold their primaries. It has been a pivotal day in American politics since the 1984 presidential elections. Super Tuesday will allocate more than one-third of the total delegates up for grabs in both the Republican and Democratic presidential primaries. States where both Republicans and Democrats will cast ballots include California, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Texas, and Virginia. Citizens in American Samoa will also vote. The party's presidential candidates will be officially chosen at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee on July 15th to 18th and at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago from August 19th to 22nd. An investigation has revealed the spread of dozens of fake images showing ex-President Donald Trump with African-American men, falsely implying their support for him. The investigative documentary series BBC Panorama, which led the probe, says the images are believed to have been generated using artificial intelligence. The false images are being widely shared by Trump supporters, despite no evidence linking them to the top Republican presidential candidate. One particular image was created by conservative radio host Mark Kay, who acknowledges their fictional nature. Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter, sees this as part of a larger disinformation effort targeting the Black community, possibly affecting voter sentiment. Trump's Political Action Committee has launched an advertising campaign targeting Black voters in key swing states. It also comes amid a decline in Black voter support for President Joe Biden compared to the previous election. A group of Muslim activists in London has launched a campaign to introduce Islam through selected verses of the Quran on billboards across the city. The initiative, titled Discover the Quran, seeks to build understanding among non-Muslims of Islam's holy book, as well as dispel misconceptions about Islam and spark curiosity. It is being led by the Islamic Education and Research Academy. It also involves distributing 60,000 translated copies of the Quran. In a meeting with journalists in the capital, Kabul, Afghanistan's Taliban officials have threatened to bar female journalists and women from media platforms if they do not follow their dress code. Head of the Taliban's Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice Ministry, Muhammad Khalid Hanafi, has reportedly said that women must be covered in a way that only their eyes are visible. The Afghanistan Journalists Center has expressed deep concern over the order, saying it could lead to women being erased from the media. The AFJC says ministry spokesperson Abdul Ghaffar Farooq told them to show images of women in black clothing and veils with their faces mostly covered. He also told them to avoid interviewing women who do not follow this dress code. A recent report has exposed at least 7 cases of misidentification caused by facial recognition technology, which have disproportionately affected Black individuals. They were wrongly accused due to flawed algorithms. These were unable to accurately distinguish facial features and skin tones. Compounded by potential biases among law enforcement officers, this has led to wrongful arrests. The Innocence Project is actively challenging this misuse. The nonprofit legal organization, which works to exonerate those who have been wrongly convicted, is advocating for pre-trial litigation and community involvement to prevent further harm. There are no federal policies in place to regulate AI use in policing. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.